Um, Chotima Chaturawong is Associate Professor in the Faculty of Architecture at Silpakorn University. She has very formidable credentials, having studied at Silpakorn University, Chulalongkorn University, and Cornell University. She's built up a quite distinctive body of research over the years. She has been a pioneer in the studies of architecture of some of the so-called minority communities that are spread in different areas of mainland Southeast Asia, including the Thai Dam, Shan, and Mon communities. She's also, I think, distinguished her research by her very meticulous, very detailed approach to the architecture, and combining that with a very impressive consideration of archival materials that, and also research by other scholars that helps to fill out the historical, cultural, and political context for the very detailed research that she does on the structures and how they are used by the people who built and inhabited them. I actually have never had the chance to meet Chotima in person. We were supposed to be on a panel together at a conference in the US earlier this year, and of course, it was canceled because of COVID. Then over the summer, I noticed that she published a major new book on Buddha shrines, covering Myanmar, Thailand, and Sri Lanka. So as you can imagine, this is really a very ambitious work that I hope all of you will make sure that your university libraries acquire. Then when we start to plan this series of lectures, I had it in my mind that we need to get her to come to speak and give us some of her insights from the book. When I invited Chotima by email, I mentioned to her, well, what are the institutions that are sponsoring this series? And she replied that it is Kusala, meaning good or wholesome, that I'm working with Shan State Buddhist University. I certainly hope that is true. But I can say for sure it's Kusala that she very kindly shares with us her research today. And it's also Kusala that all of you are here to participate and enhance our understanding of the Buddhist architecture. So we will have Chotima's presentation, and then following that, a Q&A that you can all join in. Chotima, do you want to get started, please?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Angela. Firstly, I would like to Dr. Angela and Dr. Cosby, who kindly invited me to present a part of my book at this rainy season research series. It is such a great opportunity for me. My today's talk will be about Wihan at Wat Traphang Thong Lang in Sukhothai, Thailand, which is a part of my book. Actually, my book is written in Thai, so I try to publish article in English, part of my project that I plan to do. Okay, so I will start read my paper. Wihan architecture in Thai refers to an assembly hall where a Buddha image is enshrined and people gather to perform ceremonies and to listen to Dharma preaching. Whereas Wat in Thai means a Buddhist temple or monastic compound. Oh, sorry. Sukhothai is a state named after its capital and is situated on the Central Plain, Thailand, which has land road to connect with Lower Myanmar, where seaports were provided. Before Sukhothai emerged and the Khmer extended their territory to central Thailand, people in the area was probably under the influence of the Mon. The present historical town of Sukhothai was likely firstly established around the 12th century. Here, Parong dynasty was founded in 1240s. It was a parallel period that Mataban of the Mon was re-established in 1287 and Chiang Mai was founded in 1261. And this is the map of Sukhothai, Mataban, Chiang Mai, and this is Pagan. The historical town of Sukhothai, or the inner city, has a rectangular plan which is enclosed by walls and moat, and the temple of the Great Lily, or Wat Mahathat, at the center. Buddhist monastic compounds were located both inside and outside the inner city. Wat Traphang Thong Lang, or Monastery of the Coral Tree Pond, is located to the south of the Pan River and outside the inner city to the east. And this is from the Google map. This is Wat Traphang Thong Lang. The monastic compound included a Wihan, or assembly hall, as the principal architecture, situating aloud at the center of a sacred quadrangle or public area, which was enclosed by moat. An ordination hall is constructed outside a sacred quadrangle to the east. The Wihan consisted of two parts, a brick chamber for the Buddha statue to the rear, and a pavilion as an assembly hall to the front. According to Betty Gosling, the latter was older than the former for almost half a century. The chamber of the Buddha statue was likely built during the reign of King Lithai. The former probably represents a private chamber of the Buddha, or Kandakudidai, or Payasao in Burmese, which is separated from a gathering place of lay people to the front. It has been a tradition among the Mon, Burmese, Chan, and Tayuan that the area of the Buddha or the Buddha shrine or shelf inside a house is set apart from a living space. Side of a house often was a cantilever structure with its own roof jutting out from the house. Probably because the Thai of Sukhothai share the custom with the Mon, Burmese, and Tayuan of northern Thailand of separating a place for a Buddha image from that of lay people in a house and in religious architecture. The monastic compound perhaps belonged to a forest dwelling order, which extended from the western area outside the inner city or present-day historical town. The compound simply contained only a Wihan as the principal architecture or public area. Halipunchai of the Mon and Anuradhapura of the Sinhalese also contain monastery of a forest dwelling order outside the inner city to the west and east. Furthermore, name of the monastery, Thong Lang, refers to a coral tree and can signify the monastic compound as a park or a forest. Although it had no information whether it has been an original name of the monastic compound, a coral tree is prominent in Buddhism, as the term Thong Lang in Thai, or coral tree, or Pille Gatit in Burmese, refers to Paricchattaka in Pali. The Paricchattaka is the sacred tree that grew in a royal park called Pundalika of the Tavatimsa Heaven, and its foot is the Pandukambalasilasana, or Pandukambalasilasana stone, where the Buddha was seated and taught Abhidhamma for 3 months to his former mother, who was reborn as a Deva, and other Devas and Brahmans. The Paricchattaka is among the 7 trees that live throughout an eon. The Paricchattaka also refers to the tree of the Wat Traphang Heaven. Furthermore, according to the Great Chronicle of the Buddhas of Mingun Sayadaw, 33 young men heading by Maka had performed many charitable deeds in the human world, such as planting coral trees to provide shade for people. They were reborn as the 33 gods at the Tavatimsa Heaven. Maka became Saga, and a coral tree appeared at the Tavatimsa Rim. Wihan at Wat Traphang Thong Lang probably represented the Sudhammasala or Sudhammasala pavilion next to the Paricchattaka in the Tavatimsa, where the devas come to listen and discuss dharma. Paricchattaka and Sudhammasala are significant symbols of the Tavatimsa. They have been portrayed in manuscript and mural paintings of the Thai, Burmese, Mon, and Khmer. The Taipumikatha, or Book of the Three Panes of Existence, or Taipum Paluang, three words according to King Ruang, stated that the Tavatimsa Heaven possessed 5 prominent objects, namely the Vechayan Prasad, Palace of Saga, who is the head of the Tavatimsa. Second, elephant, Saga's vehicle. Third, Julamani or Sulamani stupa enshrining the hairy legs of the Buddha. Fourth, Sudhammasala. And fifth, Paricchattaka tree. The Taipumikatha was the Thai of Sukhothai. Thai manuscript of the Ayutthaya and early Ratanakosin periods from the 14th to the 18th centuries also often portray the Tavatimsa Heaven with these symbols. For example, this Thai manuscript dated to the 18th century during Chonburi periods also includes these 5 symbols. However, there are some manuscripts which excludes the elephant. For example, the manuscript, Taipum manuscript in Tham or Dhammakom script found in Thailand, and Burmese manuscript dated to the 19th century. These manuscripts include only Vechayan Prasad, Sulamani Stupa, Sudhammasala, and Paricchattaka tree. And there are some more mural paintings and manuscripts include the scene that when the Buddha sat upon the Pandukambala stone under Paricchattaka tree as well. For example, this manuscript, Burmese manuscript, The Life of the Buddha, and the Mon mural painting at Tasau at Gornat Monastic Complex in Gornat village in Molamang, dated to around the 19th century. And in this Mon mural painting also includes the Sudhammasala. So is this parallel to the mural painting on the ceiling at Sudhammasala at Wat Bothom in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, which include the scene the Buddha sit under the Paricchattaka tree and Sudhammasala and Sulamani stupa. The Taipumikatha stated that the Paricchattaka tree will flower once in 100 years, and when the flowers are fully open, they will shine gloriously, radiate, and perfume as far as over 1,000 kilometers. Sometimes the flowers will be blown inside the Sudhammasala, which contains the jewel pulpit of 16,000 meters width, as well as the seats of Saga and 32 devas. It is a place where devas assemble to listen to Dharma preaching, delivered by a Brahman named Sunankuman from Brahma Loka, or by Saga or Dindra or other devas. As the Wihan architecture at Wat Traphang Thong Lang likely symbolized the Sudhammasala in the Tavatimsa Heaven, is it possible that seated Buddha statue inside the brick chamber signify the episode when the Buddha preaching Abhidhamma to his former mother and devas? The Burmese and Sinhalese also portray this episode in their art and architecture. The Burmese of Pagan and the Sinhalese of Kambola had a multi-story Buddha trial where the upper trial represented the Tavatimsa rim and the episode when the Buddha delivered Abhidhamma teaching. For instance, the Kathautiniya Vihara in Kambola. A Wihan or an image shrine at the Kathautiniya monastic complex has two stories made with stone. The ground floor symbolizes the human world and the upper floor signifies the Tavatimsa Heaven. The ground floor includes a shrine of the Buddha image and a Deva or a shrine for the Hindu god Uppalavana, but later the god was changed to Vishnu. The Vihara faces to the east and has a southern external staircase to the upper terrace and shrine. The Buddha statue on the ground floor represents the scene when the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, while that on the upper shrine depicts the scene when the Buddha preached Abhidhamma under the Paricchattaka tree in the Tavatimsa. Although the Burmese of Pagan did not mention that the shrine of the upper floor symbolized the scene in the Tavatimsa Heaven, an inscription of King Alonsitu, written in 1141, after the Chuvekuji Cave Temple was completed in 1131, suggested that the upper floor could symbolize the Tavatimsa Heaven. Although the Chuvekuji was a large single-story temple, it had a high platform and a staircase to the upper terrace inside the western wall to the northwest corner of the entrance hall. According to the inscription, the king aimed to dedicate the temple to the Buddha and expressed the wish that he could perform deeds like the Buddha. For instance, performing the miracle of Tavatimsa and seated upon the Pandukambalasilasana stone to preach Abhidhamma to devas and brahmans headed by his former royal mother. And other evidence is mural painting at Cave Temple number 1150 in Pagan, which depict the scene the Buddha ascending and descending from the Tavatimsa Heaven. And in the middle of this mural painting, there is the Buddha seated. Probably he sits under the Paricchattaka tree. In Thailand, we also find a scene of preaching Abhidhamma in the Tavatimsa at the manuscript during Thonburi period in 18th century. And on the top right corner is written, the Buddha teaching Dhamma to his former mother in the Tavatimsa in return of gratitude. However, in this painting, image of the Buddha does not exist. Instead, there is a symbol of probably Paricchattaka tree located inside a palace. Dhamma teaching taken from the Abhidhamma was perhaps introduced to Malay people in Sukhothai after Prince Litai composed the Taipumikatha when he was the heir apparent in Sri Sachanarai. Prince Litai, or later King Litai, aimed to take lessons from the Abhidhamma, namely planes of existence and Nibbana, and the path to teach his loyal mother and others who were interested. The three words of the Taipumikatha is parallel to planes of existence in the Abhidhamma Sanghaha of Venerable Anuruddha, which was one among two holy books on Abhidhamma from which the book were taken some portions of the book, namely Atthakatha Dika Abhidhamma Avatan. The Taipumikatha was also consulted and taken some parts from other 30 holy texts, such as Buddhavamsa, Matulata Vilasini, Milinta, Visuddhimak, China Lankala, and Anakottaka Vamsa. Sukhothai also had an inscription of Abhidhamma dated around 1358 to 1457. It was written with Khmer Sukhothai script in Pali language on a chalk stone. The inscription comprised texts from two books of Abhidhamma Pitaka, the first Dhamma Sankhani and the seventh Patthana. Texts from Patthana were written within the inner frame and surrounded by those of Dhamma Sankhani as outer frames. The texts of Patthana are located at the center because, according to Theravada tradition, they are considered the most important wisdom of the Buddha and probably the first to disappear in the future. The Patthana, or 24 types of conditional relation or paccaya, the law of cause and effect, are thus protected by Dhamma Sankhani, which is Buddhist psychological ethics and ethics of the Patthana. The cause and effect in the Patthana analyze 24 types of conditional relations or paccaya relating to the classification in the Matika or table of the Dhamma Sankhani. A chamber for the Buddha statue was also adorned with stucco relief of scenes from the Buddha's life inside a niche at the center of the exterior walls. Previous studies usually suggested that the Buddha inside the chamber represents the scene of attaining enlightenment, and the reliefs depict the three episodes, namely descending from the Tavatimsa Heaven on the south face, performing the twin miracle at Savatthi, or preaching and subduing the plight of his father and relatives at Kapilavatthu on the west face, and taming the Nalakili elephant on the north face. However, this study proposed the Buddha inside the chamber and the relief on the west face, portraying the episode of preaching Abhidhamma in the Tavatimsa and of performing the miracle of Ratana Jungkom or jewel work, respectively. So I totally agree with previous study that on the south and north face, they were depict the scene descending from the Tavatimsa Heaven and taming the Nalakili elephant in Lachakaha, respectively. However, I have a different view for the west face. The stucco relief of the west face portrays the Buddha walking in the air above a tree while surrounded by human figures, wearing crowns like kings and putting hands together in front of their chairs as a gesture of respect. They may be devas or brahmans, as the heads are encircled with a papa mandala or circle of light around the heads of a holy person. Above the Buddha are figures of devas who are scattering flowers. The relief probably represented the Buddha performing the miracle of Ratana Jungkom or jewel walk in front of the crowd of devas, brahmans, and Saya relatives. After performing the twin miracle during his first visit to his father and relatives in Kapilavatthu. At this event, the Buddha had light radiating from his body, and he demonstrated his supernatural power by creating a jewel walkway in the sky. All Deva and Brahmans are very delighted and assemble to pay respect to the Buddha. Some scatter flowers such as Mantalava, lotus, and Paricchattaka upon the jewel walkway. The Matulata Vilasini, or commentary of Buddhavamsa, stated that while walking on the Jiva walkway, the Buddha was 18 cubits high, gorgeous, and radiant, parallel to a golden mountain. The full moon in the autumn, and Paricchattaka in full blossom with 100 years height. The Matulata Vilasini also claimed that after performing the miracle of the Ratana Chungkom, the Buddha preached the Buddha Vamsa at the Nikrotala Vihara. Regarding to this proposal, the principal seated Buddha statue and the stucco relief on the three faces symbolize the Buddha providing Dhamma teaching to his former mother, Devas and Brahmans on the east face, to his father, relatives, Brahmans and Devas on the west face, to humans, Deva and Brahmas on the south face, and to an animal or elephant on the north face. Starting from the principal seated Buddha statue and moving to the event in the clockwise direction, the sequence of episodes is related to the three important full moon days and the order of the lunar months of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese. The first lunar months of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese fall in the same period between March to April, in which their New Year festival called Dinjan in Burmese and Songkran Thai are held. Each phase, ascending to the Tavatimsa, indicates the beginning of the Buddhist Lent in the fourth lunar month, June to July, of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese. It is Asala Puya Day of the Sinhalese, the full moon day of Vaso of the Burmese and Mon, and Asalaha Puja Day of the Thai, which was started in 1958. It likely indicates the rainy season. South face, descending from the Tavatimsa Heaven, marks the end of the Buddhist Lent in the seventh lunar month in September to October of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese. It is Web Puja Day of the Sinhalese and the full moon day of the Rinjot or Abhidhamma Day or Tavatimsa Festival of the Mon and Burmese. It occurs at the end of the rain and probably signify the cool season. West face, visiting Gabilawatu and performing the Jewel Walk signify the 12 lunar month in February to March of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese. It is Madin Puja Day of the Sinhalese and the full moon day of the Bao of the Burmese and Mon, on which the Chivetagong Stupa is celebrated. It is Maka Puja Day of the Thai, which was instituted by King Rama IV in mid-19th century. It was start of spring in India. And all of these three full moon day are national holiday of people in Myanmar and Sri Lanka, whereas in Thailand, Thai people exclude the end of Buddhist Lent as the national holiday. The stucco reliefs at Wihan at Wat Traphang Thong Lang has strong Sinhalese inspiration, such as thread, ornaments, and papa mandala, or a circle of light of Deva, as well as Sri Lapapa frame of light around the Buddha. This is Sri Lapapa and this is Papa Mandala. Furthermore, arrangement of the text of Abhidhamma inscription Sukhothai corresponds to text grouping of the 189 Bilangkot Dagaba Kal Asana inscription in Polonaluwa, Sri Lanka. Other cultural linkage with Myanmar is the decoration of the figure of Aginara, a mythical half-bird and half-man creature, each at the two ends of the corbel arch above the northern niche, which depict the scene taming the Narakili elephant. A figure of Kinala was also decorated at two ends of the stucco arch of a stupa at Wat Traphang, another temple of Sukhothai. However, in these, they depict both a figure of a Kinala is a male and Kinale female. And this stucco dated to the 14th century. However, only figures of Kinala adorn the eastern niche of a small stupa to the east of the main lotus stupa at the temple of Great Lilik or Wat Mahathat at Sukhothai. This small stupa includes arch of Kinala and Makala. Figures of Kinara adorn the ends of an arch was typical of the Burmese arts of Pagan. Moreover, they often appear in mural paintings inside cave temples. For example, mural painting of Kinara above the Buddha's shoulder inside cave temple number 480 in Pagan. And another one is a mural painting on the back wall of the Buddha shrine, Lokatekpan. And figure of Kinala appear at the two ends of the arch above the Buddha shoulder. A Kinala related to the Buddha as the Buddha was born as a Kinala 4 times in his previous lives. For example, Jataka number 485. A Kinala is likewise one of the 108 auspicious symbols on a Buddha footprint. Kinala and Kinari symbolize air and sound. A Kinala and Kinari together sometimes represent the Burmese vehicle zodiac dioxide. The Wihan at Wat Traphang Thong Lang probably symbolized the Sudhammasala in the Tavatimsa Heaven, where the Buddha image to the right can signify the episode in the 7 Rains retreat when the Buddha delivered Abhidhamma teaching to his former master, Devas and Brahmans. It was also associated with the stucco reliefs on the other 3 faces of the Buddha chamber, representing descending from the Tavatimsa Heaven, performing the miracle of Latana Jongkom, and taming the Nalakili elephant. These scenes likely symbolize the Buddha providing Dhamma teaching to his mother, father, relatives, Brahmans, Devas, lay people, and an elephant, and were related to 3 important full moon days of the Sinhalese, Mon, and Burmese in the 4th, 7th, and 12th months. The 2 ends of the arch above these stucco reliefs were decorated with figure of Kinara, parallel to the decoration of Pagan arch in mural paintings. Similarities of religious art and architecture in Sukhothai, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka reflected cultural relations among peoples in these areas. Sukhothai associated with the Mon in Lower Myanmar and in Halipunchai. Pagan was an important center of Theravada Buddhism in Southeast Asia, while Sri Lanka was the original center of Theravada Buddhist tradition. They inspired people of Sukhothai in Buddhism, culture, art, and architecture. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Yes.
Thank you very much indeed, Ajahn Chotima, for this presentation. Before we move to the Q&A, I'd like to just quickly remind everyone that next Friday at the same time, using the same web link, we'll have a seminar with Mark Allen from the University of Sydney, and his talk will be on research on the Kuto Da Pagoda, marble stele recension of the Pali Canon in Mandalay. So at this time, we'd like to move on to Q&A. Just to remind everyone, this is being recorded. You can either ask questions by tapping the hand icon on the floating menu bar, or you can type your question in the chat and then we will read it. So please feel free now to ask your question, maybe while everyone is gathering their gathering their thoughts, I'll ask Chotima, can you talk about how this particular structure fits with other Litai, other monasteries or structures that are attributed to Litai?
You mean the temple which has only this Wihan, right? You mean
yes.
Yes. In Sukhothai we have about four temples which have a similar layout with at the public area contain only the Wihan, which is like a place to practice ceremony and listen to Dhamma teaching. So I analyzed that these temples belong to forest dwelling order because they are located outside the inner city to the east and to the west of Sukhothai inner city. Yes, so because normally Buddhist temple in Sukhothai, they usually contain stupa as well, but this kind of monastery, they don't have stupa, they have only Wihan. So I guess that it is forest dwelling order. Yes.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that they did not have stupa. It seems really
They don't
distinctive.
have stupa. Yeah, they don't have stupa. Yes.
Right. Okay. There is a question from Kate in the chat. Do we see the presence of Abhidhamma reduced in Thai art in the modern period, 19th century to 1950s especially, as the Reform Buddhism emphasized Abhidhamma less, or is it consistently visible?
Actually, I don't know exactly during the 19th century because actually I used to study Abhidhamma for some time. I found Abhidhamma before I do this research. I didn't know that Abhidhamma found in since the Sukhothai period, and from this research it's strong evidence that it found since King Litai composed the Taipumikatha. And in Ayutthaya, probably there has also, but during the 19th century, it should be, but one time the Thai also invited monk from Myanmar. His name is Venerable Chotika to teach Abhidhamma class in Bangkok at Wat Mahathat next to my university, and now it become like a college of Abhidhamma. Yes, and it's quite popular, and the student from this college also go to teach in other monastery as well. Yes.
Are there other examples of this kind of where books of the Abhidhamma are inscribed in full at Sukhothai?
What? Pardon me. What do you mean?
Are there other examples of books of Abhidhamma being inscribed at Sukhothai?
No, only we found only at the Taipumikatha. Actually, at the Taipumikatha, at the introduction, it say only that King Litai tried to introduce Abhidhamma to people. That's it. And if you look carefully, we will say that the Taipumikatha is parallel to, as I say, it's like Abhidhamma Abhidhamma Matha Sankaha of Venerable Anuruddha. Yes.
Okay.
Not because Abhidhamma is very difficult for normal people to understand. So I guess the king tried to introduce something that's very easy, like a planes of existence and nibbana, to teach people, because if to teach about Jitasic or something, it's too difficult to understand. I think. Yes.
Right. Okay. I see that just to come back to Kate's question about the reform and emphasis on Abhidhamma, she said she's particularly interested in the 1950s. Is that a watershed in change too?
No, it's just that I'm aware of the Abhidhamma tradition coming back in from Burma. So it was really the earlier period that I was interested in, what happened to art. But it sounds like Chotima actually is unusual in having that Abhidhamma experience, and so that enabled her to recognize the art in Thailand. So I'll withdraw the question, but I'm really interested that she was able to see things because she had the Abhidhamma training. And thank you for the fascinating talk. It was really interesting. But anyway, there are other questions, so I will be quiet now. Thank you. And sorry for the background noise.
Thank you.
Okay, there's another question in the chat. Thank you for the wonderful talk, this person says. And it says, I have a question. Are the Deva and Brahma still influential in the folk Buddhism in Thailand and Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I think, still influence, because if we look at mural painting and Buddhist architecture, even in nowadays in rural area, there's also depict the scene with the Deva and Brahmans. Yes, I think it's still influential. Yes, and people still believe, yes, in Devas. Yes.
Okay. And there's also a question again. Can you tell more about the Paricchattaka tree? I think you went through it in your presentation, but is there any further information that you might add or to?
Yeah, I have read, but briefly, but I don't focus. I have not focused yet. I read briefly from Thai books. There's talk Thai from internet. You talk about Paricchattaka tree, and when some people attain Arahanta or something like that, the flower will rebloom, something like that. I think it's very interesting too. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Another question on the chat from Isara is, I was wondering if there's any connection between Wat Mahathat in Sukhothai and the one in Bangkok.
The one in Bangkok, Wat Mahathat in Sukhothai has a stupa which enshrine the relics of the Buddha. It's called Wat Mahathat, or Temple of the Great Relic, and it is located at the center of the inner city. And this temple excludes the living place of monks. So monks didn't live here. It's just like for king to practice ceremony. That's it. But at Wat Mahathat in Bangkok, it's not located at the center of the inner city. But it has a relic of the Buddha as well, but it's not stupa, but it enshrined in a building which is called Mondok. Yes. And Wat Mahathat in Bangkok also have the dwelling place of monks. So monks live there too. So it is the different. And actually Wat Mahathat become, I don't know when it start, maybe in Sukhothai. So it become that every town they should have Wat Mahathat located at the center of their city. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the chat we have a question from Alexei. Ajahn Chotima, thank you very much for your important presentation. I have a specific question related to the interpretation of the west-faced relief as representing the Ratana Chankama walkway. Given that the Buddha stands above the tree, is it not possible to identify it as a scene of the miracle of the double and the ascent to the Tavatimsa realm that involved the Buddha standing on the mango tree sprouting from the fruit given by Pasenadi's gardener, Ganda? Is there anything specific in the iconography or overall program that suggests it should be treated as a representation of a visit to Kapilavatthu?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think this is what I guess, because if we read the text, we will see that when the Buddha performed the twin miracle in Savatthi, no, he performed in front of people who didn't believe in Buddhism and like deity, something like that. So in the previous art, painting or stucco relief, literally they depict like a deity who not Buddhist, something like that. And sometimes they depict the scene, the Buddha, twin Buddha, one Buddha standing, one Buddha sitting, something like that. And for this west face of the Wat Traphang Thong Lang, one thing that I found is a very important key for me, that above the Buddha, so you will see that Deva like a scattering flower to the Buddha. So among the scene, twin miracle or performing miracle to subduing the pride of his relative and father, didn't say that there is Deva scattering flower to the Buddha. So one thing, and another thing, that when they're scattering flower, it include Paricchattaka flower, which is heaven tree, heaven flower. And another thing that, as I read, is also connect with Mulata Vilasani. We say that when the Buddha walk under the dew walkway, he gorgeous and radiant like a Paricchattaka in full blossom, something like that. So I think it can be possible. Yes, this is just my analysis. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's usually for the double miracle, usually there's more than one Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
But is there are there other structures that have the same combination of the descending from Tavatimsa, the taming of Nalagiri, and the Ratana Chamkama? Are there other structures you've seen that have this combination of the scenes as at Wat Traphang?
Pardon me. What do you mean?
Are there this combination of the three sides showing the descent from Tavatimsa, the taming of Nalagiri, and the Ratana Chankama? Are there other structures that you know of that also have this particular combination of these scenes?
No, only found here. Yes.
Only found here. Wow.
Yeah, only found here. I think, yeah, only what so far that I know. I think only found here. Yes. And I think also that when I think this Wihan probably was built by King Litai, I guess, and because he also know about the Buddhist texts as well, and then he has consultant like a monk who know the Buddhist texts, so they put together. This is, I think, yes.
Right. Okay. I just want to tell everyone that in the meeting chat, I've just added the link for ordering Chotima's book from Silpakorn University.
Yeah, my book is written in Thai, but it's a lot of picture, so you can see picture and photograph. Yes, and plan to translate in English as well. Yeah.
Yes, just from your presentation, I have the feeling that whatever illustrations and diagrams and pictures are in the book are fully worth the price of the book itself. So
thank you very much.
I have another question. This I thought was very interesting about the relation to the full moon, important full moon dates that you assign to the different scenes. Probably due to my ignorance, I was not aware of this kind of chronological linking. Can you give other examples where this kind of full moon attribution to particular scenes is shown?
You mean in other
other temples, like in
other temple?
how did you maybe help to walk through how did you come to assign the calendar to the
I try to find out how it related to each other, because I try to figure out if inside the chamber is the Buddha peace Abhidhamma, and then it's connect well with the south face, because after the Buddha peace Abhidhamma, he came down to the earth. So I try to figure out how it related to other. So, and then I read the textbook about the Sinhalese festival and ceremony as well, because the lunar month of the Sinhalese and Burmese, they're the same. Yeah, they call the first lunar month of the Sinhalese and the Burmese the same. So I compare this in Burmese, what happened in Sri Lanka, and found out that in Sri Lanka it's state correctly that on this full moon day, when the Buddha performed the Latana Chungkrom or jewel walkway, it happened in the full moon day on the 12 months. So I come back from 12 months of Sinhalese to the Burmese and more, and found they also have that kind of festival as well, but it's not exactly the same festival, but they also have in Myanmar, and it's also their national holiday. So it's quite important. And in the Thai, it's also Makabucha Day. It's also important for Thai people as well. So I guess that it related, yes.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, but Makabucha Day in Thailand is just emerged during King Rama IV. So maybe in Sukhothai period, it's another. It's not Makabucha. It was not called Makabucha Day.
Right. Are there other? I mean, it just seems it's very interesting. I think this example seems to be so unique in terms of the whole layout and plan. So I'm wondering, are there are other monasteries or structures associated with Li Tai also have similar features that maybe relate to Abhidhamma or Tribhumikata, that are also have this kind of relationship with the text.
Yeah. Yes. Is it your question?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, question.
Sorry.
I'm wondering I'm wondering because it just seems to, the whole plan seems to be sort of unique, and you've related it quite convincingly to Tribhumikata and Abhidhamma. How does this fit within other similarly dated monasteries at Sukhothai?
I think I haven't found yet. Yeah, so far now I haven't found yet. Yes, I think Wat Traphang Thong Lang is very unique. Yes.
Right. Okay. Thank you. On the chat, Kate is sharing an article by B.J. Terviel looking at manuscript illustrations of the Tribhumi. So thank you for that, Kate. We also have a question from Adam. He says, overall, do you find more Burmese or Sinhalese influence regarding the temple, or is it too difficult to say?
Yeah. Yes, there because as I say that these Wihan, no, they consist of two part, the chamber and pavilion to the front. So this is a Burmese or Mon inspiration as well. Yes, and then this Wihan, which we call Sudhammasala, or another word in Burmese is Dhammasala. Actually, it symbolizes the Dhammasala of the Burmese, but not exactly. It's more similar to the Mon rather than to the Burmese, because if we look at Dhammasala Burmese in Pagan period, the Dhammasala, the brick structure is a living place of monk. It's not for the Buddha image. So I guess this is a Mon inspiration instead of Burmese. For Sinhalese, I think for Sinhalese, yeah, actually there was Sukhothai monk who came to Sri Lanka to go there to Pamahaten Sisatha. Some people say that he go there to reordain and come back to Sukhothai. So he took a lot of Sinhalese tradition or inspiration, like Arch of Makala, something like that. Yeah, back to Sukhothai. So for mostly what I found is usually related to art and architecture. Yes. Yeah, there may be something, but we have to find out. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. I think Kate, you had your hand raised. Did you still have a question, or was that just a?
Thank you. Let's back noise here now. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say what a productive way of looking at the art and architecture I think this is. And the reason I sent link for Bas's article. Oh, sorry, thanks, Leslie. It looks like it doesn't come through, so I'll just send the. I'll send it as an attachment in a bit. It's just that he'd done a very detailed analysis of some of the images that try and capture Nibbana and related them to Abhidhamma elements. And I think we see this, the more we're going to pick up on it. So you've highlighted a, really significant temple and what it has. I think you informed by work, we will then start seeing this more. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And I also wanted to ask, and this may be that I missed a point because I had a really bad connection at one point, is the relationship between, so you made the relationship between different events in the year. Do you think this then relates to how those are celebrated within the temple? Or how they use do you think there's a link between the representation of different moments in the sacred calendar and how the temple is used on those festival occasions?
Pardon me, I cannot see, cannot hear you well. Sorry, could you please say again?
Sorry, I'll try again.
Sorry.
Is there a relationship between the art depicted in the different components and how the temple is used at different times of the year? Or do you think it is to present all of those events in one moment?
What again? What do you mean? Sorry, my English.
Are the different moments presented because they relate to the celebration of those events at the temple? And I suppose I'm thinking here of Susan Huntington's theory that some of the things that are represented as aniconic in early Buddhist art are actually actions of the celebration of those moments. And so I if the temple has got different spaces or facades for different festivals so that it relates to the actual activities that people are performing as well?
Yeah, maybe yes, maybe maybe it's related to festival that people perform as well. Like I guess like a descending from Tavatimsa Heaven, like in Myanmar. I don't know whether I answer your question, no? But in Myanmar, there is a celebration when the Buddha on the end of the Buddhist Lent. People in Myanmar, they will light a candle to welcome the Buddha back from Tavatimsa Heaven. And I guess it's also in Sukhothai at that time also. I guess because Sukhothai, they have a walking Buddha, which is prominent in Sukhothai art, which not found in other art. It's found only in Sukhothai. I just think that maybe this walking Buddha statue maybe is connect with the festival when the Buddha descending from Tavatimsa Heaven. So it also relates to when he go up to teach Abhidhamma in Tavatimsa as well. Yes, I think it's connect with their festival at that time. I think yes, of Sukhothai people at that time. Yes. I don't know whether I answer your question. Sorry.
Thank you. I suppose I'm kind of interested, but it's probably hard to answer in whether we can see that reflected in any other aspects of the material, not just the depiction, but yeah, I don't know how it would be represented in the archaeology or in the architecture now. But thank you.
Thank you too.
I have another question. You had mentioned that the Wat is there's a moat.
Yes.
So what do we know why that is there? Was there a wall also?
Yes, like a boundary, like a wall. And I guess this is the Khmer inspiration because before Sukhothai establishes used to be under the Khmer before. So there is some Khmer inspiration in Sukhothai art as well. So the moat is come from I think from Khmer, I guess.
Right. Are there other Khmer?
Even in Sri Lanka also in the temple named Banpot Wihan, they also have sometimes they have a moat like boundary, like the wall to enclose the sacred place. Yeah.
Right.
We found in Sri Lanka as well. Yes.
Right. Okay. Kate, do you have another question?
You raised something I'd been myself about the water. So I've been wondering two things. One is the linking to a river so that you've got the river boundary for the Sima when you first start to establish the Sima. I don't know, because it's one of the...
Yeah, they have the moat allow the ordination hall as well.
Yeah. But the other thing I was wondering relates to the work by Julia Shaw and Jan Stargard about the connection between water technology and monasteries.
Mm-hmm.
So really fascinating work indicating that water technology is part of the attractiveness of Buddhism and its spread, and that they combine a sort of broader water technology and local knowledge of the terrain. I wondered how much you saw that in your work, this relationship with water.
Yes, I have to. Yeah, I have to go back and take a look. Yes. Is it your question or you just a suggestion? That right?
It's my question. Yeah, no, but I just find it very interesting.
Okay. Suggestion. Yeah.
Technology is wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Angela, I don't know if you can see there's a question in the chat from Yunchia.
Yes. The question is the festival of autumn full moon explained to the monastery and to local people with the same narrative? Is it like a harvest festival for local farmers?
Yeah, I think so, because the full moon, the festival, the 12-month festival, also related to agriculture as well. It's like during the Buddhist land is rainy season, so people are busy with planting agriculture, planting rice, so they are not have time to go to temple. But after the end of Buddhist land, they get new rice, so they went to the temple to offer to the monks, and start many festival after that. So it's connect exactly really to the agriculture, their work in the rice field, in agriculture. Yes. Is it answer the question?
Yes. Yes, the person says thank you very much. I suppose in that way it does kind of relate to this question about the water and water technology and Buddhism. Kate had raised. Are there any other questions? Well, if there are none, then please join me then in Ajahn Chotima for this fascinating presentation, very thought-provoking, and also introducing us to a very interesting and apparently unique temple, and sharing with us the way that she has analyzed it. So thank you very much indeed, Ajahn Chotima, and thank